As always, they come from all walks of life. More than 370 people have been recognised for their community service in this year's Queen's Birthday Honours List. Adrienne Rochella reports on some of today's honourable mentions.
I, Susan Mary Kiefel.
The only Australian to receive the top honour, the AC, is High Court Judge Susan Kiefel. From the humble beginnings of a high school dropout, Susan Kiefel eventually went back to school and built a career in the law to become only the third female justice of the High Court. Preferring life on the farm these days, former Deputy Prime Minister and Leader of the Nationals, John Anderson, is also recognised for his service to Australia.
The reforms, as they've built wealth, brought interest rates down, gave us flexibility, let me do a whole range of things in rural and regional Australia that we couldn't have otherwise done.
On the other side of the political fence, former Treasurer Ralph Willis says he's slightly embarrassed by his inclusion on the honours list. He says his concept of the wages accord with unions was fundamental in reforming the economy in the early 90s.
Through the accord we were able to make a very strong recovery, get jobs growth going rapidly.
Natasha Stott-Despoja is also recognised for her services to Parliament. In 1995, she was the youngest woman to join the Senate and eventually became leader of the Australian Democrats.
Well, I'm certainly proud of playing some small role, I hope, in encouraging more young people and certainly more women to be actively interested in and hopefully run for Parliament.
Rob McLean brought one of the world's largest environmental groups to Australia. The Nature Conservancy works to balance the protection of the environment with the demands on land.
There's an interest in figuring out, what's the right way to allow people to earn their livelihoods, but also seek to protect these extraordinary natural assets.
Aboriginal elder Veronica Dobson has been recognised for a lifetime of preserving the endangered Arrernte language, with only 2,000 people left speaking it. Former AMA chief Dr Karen Phelps has been recognised for her work in community health. She's also a vocal advocate for gay law reform, as is former Democrat Senator Brian Gregg.
Polling shows repeatedly that the Australian community is overwhelmingly in favour of equal marriage.
Former Australian Federal Police Chief Mick Kelty has been honoured for a distinguished career in law enforcement.
We've lost two very good soldiers.
Major Jason Grote, along with Warrant Officer Kevin Dolan, are two of several members of the armed forces recognised for putting their lives on the line in Afghanistan. The managing director of the ABC, Mark Scott, has overseen massive change at the broadcaster. He says in an environment of unprecedented media choice, the ABC must stay true to its core values.
The journalism that we do is journalism of great consequence, and I think that will be important. Australian stories, Australian drama, Australian content on television, very important for us. And our commitment in regional and rural Australia too.
Former Australian cricketer Max Walker gets a gong for his service to the sport and his charity work.
We can all help. It doesn't have to be dollars. It can be a phone call. It can be an idea or a connection. But I like to think that we can all make a difference.
And Andrew Locke climbed his way onto the honours list. He was the first Australian to reach the summit of all 14 of the world's highest peaks above 8,000 metres. Adrienne Rochella, ABC News.